sometimes you do stuff and you think you've solved the problem, but you haven't. When I went through the whole front suspension on the Journey, I put in 28mm bushings for the sway bar. I think they're a millimeter too big because there was a 27mm option. I think the 28mm option was for the Journeys with third row, and this only has one back row, not a third row, second row. I still hear a little bit of a clunk, and I'm hoping that it's just a little bit of slop in that bushing because I've replaced everything else and I can't find anything that's loose. So we're gonna get that taken care of today. Let's get started. To start with, when you do your sway bar bushings themselves, those are those guys, the big rubber blocks right back here around your sway bar itself. And then you have your sway bar links. Take off those two 16mm bolts that hold down that bracket. I'm going to use an air ratchet, but you can use a regular ratchet. Oh. We've got our bracket. Looking at this, it seems like the situation is a little dim. We're going to use a Demolition Man line here, and we're going to illuminate. Yeah, look at that. Getting your sway bar bushing out is fairly easy. You can just slide it down. Lied. We're going to go do the other side. Now, starting with the driver's side, it's going to be way easier. And actually, I think I can see a little bit of a gap in this, which hopefully makes me think that that is definitely our clunk. We're going to start out with a 16mm to break these free. Alright, so our driver's side is way easier to get, but now that we have both sides done, you split the bushing over and slide it out. So the original ones that I took off this car, I've already thrown away, but they had this fabric lining, and I thought that it just wasn't there on the new ones. But you open these up like Pac-Man, you put them over the bar, and then, yeah, they just bolt down, they squish down, make sure that the slit is towards the back side of the car. We just open it up. And just there we go. So we have our new ones on. And put our brackets back on. Bracket just goes back over like that. And it's actually going to compress down on that and hopefully, in our case, shut it up. That looks much better. That gap is closed up. That makes me hopeful. Really, really hopeful. And then we'll tighten this down. The torque spec of it's a professional torque spec, trust me. And we're reaching our official torque spec here. There we go. One more. Yeah, there we go. Seems pretty official to me. Let's go do the other side. I'm pretty honest. Normally I would tell you, hey, the other side's just like this side, but it's not because you've got this cooling line in the way, so it makes things harder because you can't get the ratchet in there as easily. So you're going to have a little bit more of a fight on the driver's side or the passenger side than you did on the driver's side. Same principle. Bracket goes over, then we just tighten it down. Here's our final product. We do have a little bit of a gap there, which we don't have on the other side. We don't have the bar itself and the bushing having a gap. It's just on that one end. So we'll see if this is any quieter. Fingers crossed. But as far as a maintenance item goes, I think sway bar bushings themselves are overlooked. People do sway bar links a lot, but I think they ignore the bushings. So hopefully this video helped you. It's really only 4 bolts to do, but it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt depending on what's around those bolts and how hard they are. You're not going to do it with leverage from a cheap set of tools from Target, but it's not bad if you have the right things. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.